Febold Feboldson, Summary of the Tall Tales. The day that Febold Feboldson arrived in Nebraska from Sweden was one of the hottest in the history of the territory. As a matter of fact, it was so hot that the jagged mountains melted in the sun and became foothills. Although Febold had hoped to go all the way to California, his friend, Eldad, persuaded him to stay in Nebraska for a while, near a dismal river that they came upon. That first night, camped near the Dismal River, Febold learned about prairie mosquitoes. When Febold saw a fleet of them bearing down on him, he hid inside an iron boiler that was lashed to his covered wagon. The mosquitoes attacked and pierced its iron sides. Using a hammer, Febold bent their stingers and trapped them there. Then he climbed out and finished off the mosquitoes with a blast of his shotgun. This experience led Febold to invent mosquito netting of steel wire, much like the door and window screens we use today. One day, mosquitoes saved Febold's life. Down by the Dismal River, a whole nest of snakes bit him. Febold began to swell up, and he lay down to die. The next morning, he awoke and was fine. During the night, so many mosquitoes had bitten him, all the snake poison had been sucked out, and it saved his life. Since there were no trees in Nebraska with which to build a log cabin, Febold hiked to the redwood forests of California. Avoiding the deep snow of the Rocky Mountains, he walked south through what is now Arizona and got lost for a time in a forest. He was so angry he tore up many of the trees trying to find his way out again. This pulverized forest of Febold's is now called the Petrified Forest. When Febold reached the redwoods, he selected a dozen good trees. He pulled them up by their roots, tied them with a log chain, and dragged them back to Nebraska. By the time he got back, all he had left were a dozen tree stumps. By dragging them all that way, he wore the trees down into red soil and sand that can still be seen today. His first winter in Nebraska, Febold lived in a house built of blocks of sod. He planted trees and used the lumber to build a more substantial house with a basement. When a wind blew his house away, Febold built a second cabin on top of it. In this way, Febold invented basements and two-story houses. In his house was a clock that he had brought from Sweden. He spoke so often of this clock that had been his grandfather's that all such timepieces came to be known as grandfather clocks. Febold also used materials in his junk box to make a tiny clock that he could carry with him. He kept losing the little clock, so he got a piece of cord and tied it to his wrist. In this way, he made the first wristwatch. During his first winter, the snow was 10 feet deep, so Febold invented the snowplow. Buffalo pulled it. When they stampeded, he had a wild ride all the way to the Missouri River. His snowplow path was so deep that when the snow melted, a new river formed that was called the Platte. After gold was discovered in California, Febold was sad that everyone was leaving Nebraska and heading west. He tried to keep people in Nebraska by stocking the streams with Peruvian molting goldfish. His hope was that prospectors would see the goldfish scales in the river and stay to pan for gold. This worked for a few years, but then the gold prospectors headed to California anyway. Nebraska is a windy state, and one day, Eldad Johnson's grandfather was blown off a windmill. When they couldn't revive the old man, Febold and the others thought he was dead. They built a coffin and planned a funeral for the next day. The funeral procession got only halfway to the graveyard when another wind hit. Everything was blown about. To everyone's astonishment, Eldad Johnson's grandfather had the life blown back into him and was found alive and well, blown back up on the windmill. Nebraska used to be the breeding place for tornadoes. Febold decided to get rid of them. Each time he saw a cloud forming into a funnel shape, he dashed out with his lariat, captured the cloud, and tied it up until its force was spent. If the clouds tried to run away when they saw him coming with his lariat, Febold chased them and drove them over the Mexican border. Only recently, when word got out that Febold had finally moved to California, did tornadoes creep back into the Great Plains again. Febold also had trouble with hailstones. One day during a thunderstorm, a cloud with a green lining sailed up and flicked forks of lightning at him. Then it cast down a few hailstones. Febold picked up one of the hailstones and threw it back at the cloud with all his might. It tore a hole in the cloud, hail poured down through the hole, and Febold was buried in hailstones. It took him hours to dig his way out, and he ended up with a terrible head cold. One year, a great rain came right after a year of great heat. It poured for 40 days and 40 nights, but no rain ever hit the ground. The rain turned into steam, and then turned into fog. The Great Fog was the worst piece of weather to ever hit the Great Plains. The fog was so thick that people had to walk in pairs so that one person could part the fog enough for the other person to slip through. Animals drank fog. Seeds got confused, not knowing which way was up, and many grew downward. Then the fog froze. Febold sent for some English fog cutters, but they were so slow in coming that he built a stairway up to the top of the fog, and people traveled up there. When the fog cutters finally arrived, they cut the fog into strips and laid it along the roads. Every spring, when the sun began to shine and the thaw comes, some of the old fog seeps up on those dirt roads and ditches. Febold had some interesting ways to fish. He fed the fish California raisins, which put so much iron into their blood that he could catch them with magnets. There were a lot of dogfish in the river, and if you whistled, the fish would jump right into the boat. In the spring, during the annual flood, the Platte River would overflow its banks, and sharks and whales would swim up from the Gulf of Mexico. Febold would ride a seahorse down the river and lasso fish left and right. One of Febold's discoveries turned rain off and on. He noticed that when there was a dry spell, people talked about the weather all the time, and it never rained. He decided if he could get them to talk about something else, it would rain. So he began to talk politics. Soon everyone was complaining about the government and its officials. No one mentioned the weather for 24 hours, and it began to rain. As soon as enough people said, "What a nice rain," the rain promptly stopped again. During a great drought, all the crops dried up except for watermelons. Febold turned hot water from the Yellowstone geysers onto the watermelon vines and sold the steam that shot out of them to the railroad to run their steam engines. Febold's pet snake, Arabella, was 14 feet long. Every morning, Arabella awakened Febold by slithering into his bedroom and rattling her tail. Febold had a special basket on the back of his saddle where Arabella could ride. Arabella once saved Febold from being burned at the stake by Indians. When the Indians saw the snake, they left Febold tied up, thinking he would be killed anyway by snakebite. Another of Febold Feboldsson's inventions was Christmas lights. Febold caught lightning bugs and glowworms one summer. He painted the worms red and the bugs green so he could tell them apart at night. He strung them all over his house during the month of December, and so began the tradition of strings of red and green lights. Some say that Febold moved out to California to fix up their weather just like he fixed the weather in Nebraska, and that he'll stay there for good. Others argue that Febold will come back one day, and that he'll be making wonderful discoveries and inventions in Nebraska again.